Good morning, everyone. It is Tuesday, March the 26th, 2013. Been a wonderful day. I had dreams last night, dreams that went deep, deep, deep. I was brought into this overview of our Earth and the 200 different chakras of Earth, and I was brought into each and every one's membrane and exposed to the very nature of healing our Earth is going through. So today I'm going to do a stream reading before I take in any readings. Be about 15 minutes. The stream reading is going to be revealing of the earth chakras that are coming. For those that have the mental vision to sit and listen to the voice, just try to understand. Begin to look at the stream and call to the Dreamtime Society of the Dreamers of the Southern Skies so that they understand the fields of plenty upon this earth. Look into this world in each and every point of light, each and every city. Here's a Dreamtime Society. Each one is a field of plenty. Each one has ideas, hopes, and dreams. Each individual city upon our earth is a point of energy, a point where our mothers and fathers returned home. Home, home. What a word. Earth is our home, our world, our place that we can nurture, our place that we can call our truth, a place that we can share this energy with others. The very nature of a chakra upon a planet is to share the energy and the consciousness of the planet itself. The planet itself is alive in many ways, several dozen layers of explanation to it. The primary layer is up upon the surface. The secondary layer are those that live within the hollow earth. They are our soul family who have not traveled to other stars but have stayed here as part of a loving brotherhood. Those soul families pray to those earth chakras because they keep earth alive and protected from within as the young children upon our surface are growing up and going through the graduation process. The earth has a heartbeat. This heartbeat is our drum. In the very beginning of time, when man was first confronted with the ice mountains, friend Antelope came out of the mountains and came to man, two-legged clan men, and said to them, "Take my flesh, for it is my service to you. You will eat me, for it is my service to this world." Man said, "No, we cannot take your flesh. We cannot consume you." And Antelope went close to the shamans of man and said, "You will eat my flesh, take my hide, and live as Antelope lives." And then man took Antelope flesh, and thousands of Antelope clans became part of that world. To this very day, we are blessed with the drums from the hides of the antelope. And that drum is how you connect to the heartbeat of Earth Mother. That heartbeat of Earth Mother is what is in all of us. When you are a baby in the womb, you hear your own heartbeat and the heartbeat of your mother. That is the true heartbeat of Earth Mother. When one uses the drum to connect deep into their own soul, they connect to the heartbeat of Earth Mother and to their soul family. And from that soul family, Dreamtime Societies are understood. So today, we talk about Dreamtime Societies. The hour in which you understand a dream. The first hour you wake up and your dream is totally pleasant in you, but for every second you're awake, a little bit of the infinity is taken away as your finite mind begins to try to remember and download. And that hour is followed by the cycle of forgetting and remembering, forgetting and remembering. Earth is in a process of forgetting and remembering herself, beginning to look upon her old wounds and ask her children who is ready here to heal us. And she's coming to them in dream times, coming to them with new abilities manifest so that they may communicate their message, their word, to all of Earth's children, on this planet and off this planet. The great vision of Earth is to be the healer of 3 galaxies. But to get there, she went through a great set of destructions and creations and destructions and creations until finally we get to the point where we are now. Her chakras are healed enough, the vibration of her people is high enough, that we can tip the scales to love, to freedom, to hope, to truth, honor, and justice, and everything that made what we wanted to do in this world, so there are no more contracts that make us to understand war or to express war. It comes when people begin to tell your story to the dream time before you go to bed. Telling your story to the dream time is ultimately how you expand into that dream time, how you understand the fertile lands there and the various societies that are your soul family waiting to you to instruct you in the message and manner of healing. For in the healing of the self is how you heal all of your brothers and sisters. The great brothers and sisters that we have are spread throughout the galaxies. We, as a people, need to take inner peace and prayer to the next level, and that is to Earth's heart center. I want everybody to imagine seeing the world from the top of the North Pole. You aren't able to see the South Pole, just the top of the North Pole. The very peak of this North Pole is the peak of our dream energy, the peak of all of the surface and inner energy Earth, intermingling and co-mixing within the aurora borealis of the northern poles. That energy from the sun is interacting with our Dreamtime societies and allowing us to connect with the extended world of ourselves. In this place of inner peace, in this upper atmosphere of our Dreamtime society, is where we can go and recharge our energy and bring it to the various chakras of Earth, to the various rooms of Earth. But it requires us to have a goal, to have a purpose, to have a decision, to do that with our own free-willed energy. That own free-willed energy takes you into this truly unlimited vision of that point in the northern sky where you're unified with hollow Earth, inner Earth, Earth Mother herself, and the Dreamtime societies of all peoples and all species that invest in Earth as a home. That's something that people must take into effect. Earth is a home to many species. Earth is also a waypoint to many species that are migrating. Before they come and manifest physical bodies, they exist in that upper atmosphere of the North Pole, intercommingling with the various aurora borealis and the Dreamtime societies that are within those streamers of energy. Last night I was drawn physically and energetically into those Dreamtime societies, and there was a great massive clan meeting of Dreamtime societies asking us to step up and begin to heal Earth Mother's chakras. For a very specific purpose. Earth is about to birth a whole new set of species, and these species are energetic species, and they are here to help us as the changeover. They're going to be our guides and guardians, and they are going to be the truth of life from Earth, and there'll be no doubting that they are coming from the Earth soul because they were related to our soul families. We will look upon these new beings and simply know them as brethren, or sisters, or brothers, mothers or fathers, or grandfathers or uncles. The very energy that is coming out is the dancers of the 1,000 generations before us who danced with their feet upon the ground to put their prayers to the Earth Mother to give thanks to everything that was, is, and will be. At this very moment, every society that has ever danced in front of a fire and ever give its hopes and wills and dreams to that fire is present here in the now for all of us to tap into in a genetic manner so we may understand the prayers of our 7,000 previous generations, so we may know their successes and failures, so we also may understand the intent of the people of the future who wish to bring us out of the anchor of the past. The anchor of the past is what has locked us into this position of war because we haven't been allowed to truly express our soul. Soul expression is what is coming now for us. How does one truly express their soul in a world of materialism, where compassion is not the primary things you're taught from day one? It's very difficult if they don't have a world where everybody is semi-telepathic or psychic because we cannot help each other, and too many of us must do it upon our own. And when you do it upon your own, you must go through that rites of passage. You understand the changes that you go through, as well as the changes of the various things that are underneath your feet. Currently, the lands under my feet now are going through a change. And this is not a tectonic change, but an energetic change. The various clay structures that I live above, are beginning to solidify in a crystalline form. Not a crystalline form one can see, but in energetic crystals, they're forming a matrix within the clay. And this clay is going to begin to nurture and birth the energetic plant spirits into a singular plant that's going to come and be quite potent in this area. And this is going to be going everywhere. Trees will become ascended masters once again, and you'll be able to sit next to them and know the entire length of history of that tree. That is the type of things that are coming to the rites of passage of man. When we become adults in these rites of passage, we must take responsibility and respond to how the earth is responding to us. We must hear its message and spread its message, or take that message within and create with it upon a dream level, so we may once again enter the highest parts of the North Pole. Now I want you to see the earth from below, looking up to the South Pole so you cannot see the North Pole. In that very point of the South Pole, there is a little blue and red circle constantly pulsating, and that is the entrance to hollow earth, to where your original soul families are. Now only those of the higher vibration may enter the inner membranes of hollow earth. But if you should sit there and look upon it, you'd understand that the very energies of the North Pole are in mirror reverse here. The spirits waiting to come into Earth are here. The spirits that are visiting Earth are here. Those that are learning from those that are upon Earth through our spiritual contracts are here. That is the 7 future generations of our peoples. I see peoples here that are mixed and blended in genes to all the other species of this planet in 7 generations in the future. Right now, we are the first bridge generation into the very concept of exploration and understanding. So for those of you who are here and want to understand the things that are coming into our world from the raw spirit form, here is where you would go to observe and communicate. Now that you have a framework, you understand that this stream read I'm doing right now is a way to read the whole world, but specifically the stream of Revolution Radio is what I look upon now. There is a humor and opposition, there is a giveaway, and then there is an innocence here. And this is the fact that hundreds and thousands of people have come together to turn off the television, to share in the truth of 50 different hosts. Now, each host has a different set of people that like them or dislike them, but it all creates in a perfect balance within the stream. For every host who gives away his truth, there are others that are brought here to hear other truths and are exposed to the very humor of their own choices at times. In 2012 was about the great information of disinformation, and now in 2013 is not about information at all. It's about truly understanding the more information you bring, the faster you bog down the system. And that creates the great opposition of what's going on now, the tug of war between the forces of light and darkness. But those of us that ultimately understand, those that are in the polarity of light and darkness are simply at that change, at that rites of passage where they must give that polarity away for just a few moments so they enter the innocence of the inner child and they can tell the world what it is that they want without polarity. And once that is done, the hive mind that is Earth listens to you through its Dreamtime societies in the North and that of the South, and takes the grand equation here and begins to balance it. Once that balance is done, Earth itself will give away much of its concept as its knowledge and wisdom becomes much apparent to those that have chosen to come here with contracts of Earth to tell a truth, their truth. Because the reality is there are 7 layers of truth on Earth, and that represents the 7 future generations that are coming. We, the people here, mold this wet clay, and before we stick it into the fires of creation, we make sure that that's what we want to create. And that's what's coming to us, that choice, that wisdom, that knowledge of if we put this piece of clay into that kiln, we are creating something that the 7 future generations must begin to deal with or incarnate with. So what I'm saying here now is our opportunity to hear the stream of energy that is here must understand that the aggressive nature of the messages that are coming ultimately deter you from the giveaway, to deter you from seeing the details of how you can endure fear. How do you endure fear? For those of you that truly remember 2012 was about setting the fear fires all over the world. But all of a sudden we realized the fire of fear that they were doing were wet wood making smoke, and not this great fire of fear. Now we begin to disassociate from our governments, disassociate from our leaders and people that would say this is the only way, because there are many other ways. There are 7,300,000,000 different ways, one for each person upon this world. So now that we understand that we have a common denominator of 7,300,000,000 people, we take it to the next level, that each person shares a dream time, and each person that shares a dream time is part of the whole of Earth Mother and is a part of the equation of balance. When we take that equation of balance, we need to be a transmuting force, not a transmitting force, not a corruptive or destructive force, but transmutation, where you take one substance and you turn it into another with the will of the dream of that of the Earth. Because we are ultimately linked to her heartbeat, her existence, her vibration, through the ability to gather our wisdom and knowledge, to plan our lives, to understand that the patterns we physically weave here in dream time ultimately come out in our present time. In the beginning, I told you the story of Friend Antelope. Antelope's message is that of action. Only action turns knowledge into wisdom. So we, the spirits that are sparked full forward here in this state of action, that state of wisdom, where we are converting and transmuting what we do into our personal wisdom that affects our 7 future generations. But it's a concept that is not easy for people to understand, that an action now affects your 7 future generations. In the council of wisdom that I was pulled into in the streamer of green light of the northern hemisphere, I was asked that question, how do we convert this for everyone? And it comes to a simple point. People have to take time aside, just like coming to this radio station that turned off the TV. So we're going to be presenting an additional way for those people that want to confront their dream time, to understand their dream time, to know their dream time. I'll be setting time aside to do specific things to help people with that process. I'll be doing stream reads of the dream servers that are coming to us and out of the 7 generations that are dreaming in co-creation with us. So I want to take this time to thank everybody that's come to listen. This is a listener-donated station. Stop on by the site support button. We are in the process of upgrading Studio B to add video TV at Revolution TV. So Halak's looking to raise about $2,000. So if you guys stop on by that site support button, give a couple bucks, we'll get Studio B up and running. So I'm going to open up the lines now. If anybody has questions about the Stream River, the dreams, call in 347-688-2902. Oh, he's not doing video. I am sorry. I misunderstood that. So he doesn't need to say it anymore. Ha ha ha. So if people want to call in, add Freedom Screens at Skype or 347-688-2902. So until I get a caller, I will do the second stream read where I will look at the lateral versions of energies that are coming to and from the various internet locations that are connected to this, because each and every individual city we have is an individual Dreamtime society. And those individual Dreamtime societies are beginning to learn to dream together. How do we dream together? My first experience with telepathic was I had a girlfriend, and after an incredible night of sex, we both dreamed together. We both telepathically communicated together. And I know there are people out there that have experienced that in their own method and manner. But that's not the only way man can communicate with the others. Before you sleep, there is a time when your autopilot turns off and your full power of your mind is there. And that's when you tell your body to remember to dream. That's where you confront the autopilot and you give it new guides and new understandings so that it is truly a co-creating part of your dream instead of just something that's turned off in a neutral state that is energy, because it is a part of you. It is your anchor into this reality as well as your anchor into other realities. The temple of the body is how you create the councils of energy, the councils of decision, the councils of spirit. Because it's the energy of your body, the genetics of your body that allow those spirits that have DNA relations to you to come and co-create within your dream times. It's really interesting if you come and co-create into your dream time. You understand that they've lived in forests before you. They have had roots into the great worlds that are around them. They've been in the places of power. They've touched the fire medicine. They've touched the energy within. So here we are, the energy within. The energy within each and every one of them, of the potential listeners, are here in the now, if we should choose to see it. But how do we use it? How do we turn that energy into ourselves so that we can create something different? Here's an example. When this station came on air some years ago, it fought for every tooth and nail until finally the listeners began to support it. So finally the hosts that were here understood what it was. So we all look at this website, this brand new website. We all listen to the various hosts here. We do see the schedule. But there are thousands of people that are investing here. If you look at the YouTube site, you've got over 600,000 hits. We've made a difference here. We've all come together here. That's the internet showing us as a people, as a species, that we can change things, that we do, that an individual person as part of the whole does make a difference. And when we choose to take that to the next level, we're doing it with ourselves. We begin to vibrate with the people that are similar to us. We make groups of people. We make contact groups. We make ways for us to communicate. But how do we do that in the dream time? Well, it requires people to set aside the ego for a little bit. It requires that you have a simple fire. That fire is your place of power. From that place of power is your fire, is your dream, is which you transmit into the energy. And the fire is the membrane between the ego and the pure soul. The fire burns away the ego and allows the pure soul to communicate to the fire. And for those that are other parts of the fire and other parts of the world, you ultimately communicate together in dream time as the fire is the membrane. When I mean fire is the membrane, literally is the membrane. When fire was brought to man by Prometheus in that ancient legend, it was about how to communicate to the vibration of fire, because the fire is the motion of energy of Earth Mother's mind. It is not a destructive force, it's a creative force and destructive force, and also a communicative force to that of spirit, because fire creates smoke, and smoke is spirit given form before it recycles back into the atmosphere and down put on the earth. Everything is here, if you choose to take it. So I remind everybody, if you want to call in, 347-688-2902. I think I see a question in chat from Truth Seeker. Does a calcified pineal gland affect how we dream? I'm going to say this in two ways. There's a lot of fear porn around the calcified pineal gland, and that fear porn created a business of detoxing. For those that are truly worried about their third eye, if you can imagine an apple, a red apple in your mind's eye, your pineal gland is not calcified to the point of some of those fear porn videos where they show you a black pineal gland. So you can break it down yourself. It's all about getting your body back to alkaline, and that stuff that forms there, you can remove it yourself with your own willpower if you should choose to do that. So it only affects your dream time when you're allowing fear in your body, because the fear is the ultimately disassociation. Any poison that you have in the body, you can transmute it to something different. There are some people that have very difficult times using their third eye, but that is 90% of the time is from they have actual soul contracts that prevent them from using it. And until they confront some part of them that says you couldn't have this power because you were too powerful soul, or you would rapidly be noticed by the forces of domination and control if you started expressing skills and talents of a rapid psychic nature. There are people out there that can literally, with their fingertips, connect to their third eye and do micropsychic surgery through it. Now, if the forces of domination and control had people like that, great things could be done to undo our world. Well, that's not going to happen anymore because they did not get those people. They destroyed them. So the next level here is your dreams. If you're not dreaming at this point in time now, it is mostly because of your root chakra. And then the very back of your head where your skull connects to your neck is where your cerebrum, your cerebellum and your medulla is. That right there is where the body is turned off, literally turned off by a chemical reaction so that the mind can be free. That right there is the other point, so your tailbone and the back of your neck. Those are the point that needs to be massaged before bed, to be given salt or crystals, so that you begin to cleanse those things of the pre-programmed images in there that make you forget your dream time. Because when you come out of dream time, your body has not been properly had its C drive cleaned, if you wish to understand it that way. But those parts of the body are a massive physical memory and spiritual memory data storage area. And if you want to bring in the infinite energy of the dream, you need to clean those temporary files out there. Those temporary files are worrying about your car, your kid, do I have my job, did I pay my bills, did I listen to the show I want to listen to? All those little things that come up in a day are imprinted into the back of your head and into your tailbone. And if you don't clear those energies out, you bog down your ability to take in more dream energy. So those of you that want to detox, your best detox right now is to increase your fluid levels, to understand what is being expelled from you, to put a crystal behind the back of your neck and on your tailbone, and not try to meditate, just allow it to be there so it changes the varied energy so you understand that you're going to be expelling something. For those of you that want to take it to the next level and truly clear out those energies of memories within the body, there's a skill that you can do, and it's called the skill of recall. Oh, I've got a call. Just a second here. 512, your name and where you're calling from?
My name's Dave. I'm calling from Austin, Texas.
Hi, Dave. How are you doing today?
I'm doing well. Thanks for asking.
Good. How can I help you today?
Well, I was just calling in. I was kind of interested in your show and kind of wanted to get a reading.
Okay. Have you ever had a reading before by anyone else?
Well, yeah.
Okay. How long have you been listening to the show?
The reading may be a bit different than others.
Oh, yeah. How long have you been listening to the show for?
I've been listening to the show mostly on YouTube-ish type stuff, you know. I haven't been able to match up the times. I've been wanting to call in for a while, and this morning I remembered that this was the morning I could call in, so I jumped on the chance.
Well, it's great. So you've heard readings before. So what I need you to do is to tell me your first 10 minutes of your day, combine it into 40 seconds, be detailed, and I'll tune into your dream energies. You can just say, do it out loud.
Okay, the first few minutes of my day, woke up, woke my daughter up, started putting together, her lunch and that type of thing.
All right, I've tuned into you. The first thing that I get from you, there's a tremendous spiritual energy that's coming to you right now. You're going through an actual change in spirit. There's been a great life change into you where you've had to take a whole new layer and a whole new step to the love of your life. That is not only your child and your family, but that is bringing other future energies to the family. This sharing and quicking is like there's a great shaman of the future within you, dancing a pattern so that you of the past and of the present now can begin to tap his toe in that rhythm. It's beginning to give you the peek into your very needs that you have right now. The very needs that are coming for you are coming from your higher soul, your higher spirit that's telling you that this world is about to change. And the only way it can change is if more people are like your daughter in that innocent state where they haven't been broken, where they can be truly an innocent child playing with heart and love. And when you see that, you know that people have a very difficult time to do that, and you wanted to pass this wisdom and knowledge on to them, but you've been running into the brick wall or the proverbial square peg in the round hole. Is this making sense to you?
Yeah, pretty good, yeah.
Okay. The square peg in the round hole. What this is you come from a different truth right now. You're going to be learning in your own dream times, if you should choose to explore them, that you really didn't born on Earth. You've lived lifetimes here, and you were asked to come here at the end with a soul family, and you were very hesitant upon it because you knew at this end time here that it would get really bad and that some of the souls that you brought with you and your soul family wouldn't fare well. So you came in with that truth and came in with that power of spirit, but you also came in with the fact that you're an Arcturian spirit from the planet of Arcturus. That truth is beginning to resonate in you and allowing you to advance into that wisdom. But for you, the previous lifetimes you lived here, you were what's called a weather wizard. You lived in the Celtic areas, and you would use the various stone structures to call upon the thunder beings of the planet to bring lightning and thunder and rain, and to use them in many methods, not only for the crops, but for war also. You were managing to take thunder and lightning and turn it into a weapon to save the people for many generations, but ultimately it was lost as a new religion overtook it. And that was the great pain to your soul, one of the reasons you left, because you couldn't use the power of the earth to defend the earth anymore because they had changed the spiritual contracts of this place. So as you left, you didn't tell your story. You took it with you back to Arcturus and shared it there with Morum until finally you built a rather big soul army. And when I say army, you came here to bring love to this world, to bring change to this world, to not bring domination and control. And that story of your past life is now becoming present in you now, but you're getting, again, at that square peg and round hole moment where your soul isn't able to take all of that energy and translate to your physical body and to your physical mind because you haven't gone through the true process of the vision quest yet. There is a part of your soul that has to honor the past life, the present lives, and the future lives. And for you to seek and find those answers of the Arcturian side of you, you must give yourself a pilgrimage to a place of power. Is this connecting with you?
Well, that kind of explains a lot of things. One of my very clear visions about the past is me I've been an entertainer, and I think the last gig I played was in front of 43,000 people, or 53. It was at the Cotton Bowl. And it's like I have this remembrance of always being in front of 1,000 people and having this position. And, it's been quite a number of years going through this scenario that I'm involved in now. And it appears to be getting better, as it seems as if the world is going in a direction that could be viewed as not better, you know. Mm-hmm. Seems like my life continues to get better. Yep. And I maybe you can help me understand why the amount of fear that I deal with and anxiety that I still deal with. And it seems as if, and hopefully you can maybe give me some insight on this, it seems as if at times there's almost a switch that would flip, and I can go from this being in this anxiety, depressed type feeling to just moving out of it. And I became conscious of that about 10 years ago, and it's just amazing to me that I can be in this bad place, and then it's as if somebody flips a switch somewhere, and I go to this other place. So I wish I could have some kind of input or understand what's happening. That's
your soul family acting right now. I'm going to relate it like this. Think of a boat anchored in a harbor, and some boats need 7 or 8 anchors to stay stable because they're offloading cargo. So your soul family is anchored in the South Pole now. And in the streamer that I explained in the South Pole where all these new souls come in, your soul family came here and anchored itself in the South Pole. So all these new souls coming in got the user manual to Earth and got all the secret messages so that the fine print that people missed in these soul contracts would be explained to them fully. So they're not being taken by the scam artists of domination control on the surface. So you're one of those anchors that keeps that soul society there, and that soul society has been attacked many times. It was never dislodged, though. So when you go through these waves of understanding, it's the more souls that are literally coming to your soul group to learn those messages, to write those spiritual contracts, so that they can literally kick out domination and control and not let it scam this world anymore. That's the nature of the Arcturian people, really. You're really connected into a soul group of about 15,000 people that have incarnated on this world. You know, for an Arcturian, that's big. That's really big. That's, as I said, like an army you formed, and you're like one of the mid-range colonels in that army. And I say that because there are souls that came here underneath you in not a form of domination, but in dominion of love, knowing that the type of anchor you had, those that were below you could bring in more souls that were protected by your oversoul contracts. So the more that you are in front of people and give out a message of vibration, doesn't matter what the message is. If you're talking on air, you're playing music in front of a crowd, you're a comedian, you are bringing a vibration forward that is connecting to the soul groups of people. Now, when you understand that layer, the very next layer that comes for you is how do you change this? How do you get deeper into it? And as I was saying in your reading, it's about the vision quest. It's about a pilgrimage to a place of power. Have you ever thought of doing a personal pilgrimage to a place of power so you may experience its energy and share a few nights of dreams with it?
Well, my life right now is pretty tight. I mean, you know, I've been one of these folks that I addressed the bank issues and lost my home and all that type of stuff. And so I was homeless for a while, and so things have been pretty tight. I've got a place to live, and I'm paying for my daughter's school, and things are working out, but kind of waiting for the next thing to open up where I may have some freedom to have movement and maybe take a vacation or the pilgrimage you're speaking of.
I got a question. Do you live here in the States?
I live in Austin, Texas.
Okay. So you're pretty close to the ocean.
3-4 hours.
Okay. You got a big lake next to you or a river?
They have the lake here is pretty much dried up all the time. They do have the Colorado River, which kind of stagnantly moves through town.
Right. What I'm sensing for you is you need water energy in you. You've dried up your reserve water energies. The spots around below your kneecaps, onto the left and right of the tibia and fibia, those are your wellspring reserve energy, and those well springs have been overused and they're not giving you the water energy you need. So this is the time for you seriously take a lot more into your life, not by drinking it, by like sitting in it or letting it roll over you. If you need to take long showers or sit in a pool, it's very important that you begin that process. It'll help you unravel some of these nervous energies that are stuck within you, and it'll help you more understand that when there is free time and it's time for you to take a vacation, if you keep in the back of your head that it's a pilgrimage to help these new energies. Even if you're going to bring your daughter with you, even if it's to Disneyland, in Disneyland itself has wonderful energies that can help heal people because of the innocence of the children that come there. So it is a pilgrimage away from the old and into the new, so where you're let go of that energies. So that's ultimately what pilgrimage is, where you've let go of your home energy, you've traveled to an area, and you're going to share energy with it. And then when it's time to sleep in that area, you're going to give yourself conscious awake time to tell yourself to dream with this area, to experience its energies. I'm also getting, there's a lot of healing spirits around you. Is someone around you an energy healer or a massage therapist?
I'm pretty much alone here. I don't know. Not really.
Do you have a friend that's into like psychic readings and stuff?
I have a close friend that's an astrologer. Does astrology.
You speak to them often?
I've got a friend that I speak to often, and he's kind of like a coach, but he doesn't identify himself as being somebody that does this or that, if you know what I'm trying to say.
I do. And the reason I say that is there's the spirit guides that you have right now are literally offering me a wooden medicine bowl. And I say that is this bowl is ancient from your spirit and is an item of power that you created with your hands in an old lifetime that allowed the concept of plant energy and plant medicine to be put upon this bowl and then to be crushed into a powder or a paste. And it was like a pedestal, but that pedestal absorbed the energy of the plant, and then the person that held that would convert that energy pedestal of the plant to his soul so that he would learn the message of the plant. Now this is being offered to you, one of your old tools, but there has to be somebody that teaches you how to use it so that you can manifest it. You ever done woodworking in your life?
Not really.
Well, they're saying that there's someone around you that can teach you these skills, and there's someone around you that can help you go through this process of changing, where you manifest something from the dream world to your physical world. As an Arcturian, you can do that innately. You just haven't been taught how to do it yet.
Well, that's kind of the theme that I feel is that. I'm not very happy because I think that I've lost my magic, per se, but I feel as if it's coming back.
Well, you lost your magic for a reason. 2012 was a big beatdown on the Arcturians. So I told you about that soul group that's manifested there. They may have beat him down, but they didn't kick him out. So that's what you have to understand. There was a pullback of the Arcturian energy. What the Arcturians did when they realized some of their anchor points were under attack, other Arcturians formed these vehicles of hope and change. What it was several dozen high-energy Arcturian teacher spirits coalesced all of their energy into a single amalgamation of energy and then shot themselves across the void of the galaxy and for thousands of years until they finally reached Earth by traveling the Great Void and entering the upper atmosphere of the Dreamtime, and then going from Dreamtime to physical reality. And there were these balls of light that travel between chakra points and chakra points, creating a vehicle of hope and change, because that was the purpose of the skulls that came together. In 2012, these vehicles, hope and change, literally turned the tides from negative to positive when their various wildfires of disinformation or information came out and were finally proven, accepted, or disproven, or just taken to a fact that it was part of 2012 and no one really cares anymore because we're 2013 now. So you must understand that these vehicles of hope and change are around you, and you can ask them to come to you because you are Arcturian in nature. And once they come, things will change. The people you need will manifest, but this requires a leap of faith from your heart to that South Pole communication area.
So what would the leap of heart maybe look like, so I can understand what that?
Honestly, is you need to get a lot of water energy in you. You know, saturate yourself with water energy, and just look at the sky, look to the south, and let your mind's eye literally visualize yourself looking at the Earth from the bottom of the South Pole, and then visualizing little sparkles of light there, and understanding that in that layer there are several dozen other layers you could choose to see if you ask them to help you understand it, so you may gain the endurance of vision so you may stay in those vision areas. Because in those vision areas is where the Arcturians exist.
So you know what I'm looking for here, and I appreciate your time. I really do. A lot of it, I mean, my brain can't understand what you're saying, but that's okay. But my main question to you, and it might be a question that you've been answering, but you know, I've kind of been in this place where it's been uncomfortable at this point, and I'm hoping that and working towards and trying to allow the rest of my life be in a different mode than it has been. And I'm wondering, is that kind of where this is headed for me?
Yes. The more you take the time to recognize your soul family, that of the Arcturians, the more you'll understand that you have a father, a mother, a brother, and a sister that are waiting for you to communicate with them. And then once you actually begin that process, there'll be soul tears on the other side, because you've broken through. You've completed your contracts. You've survived. You didn't let this world beat you down. So it's really about expressing the shaman inside you.
I felt as if I've really been reaching out for many years, and nobody shows up.
Well, that's the thing. You're not reaching into the right place. You're not allowing yourself to see the 7 layers beyond the only single layer that you see. And that's because much of your crown chakra was protected, because the Arcturians, when they come in this world, are like shining beacons of light for the forces of domination and control. So once they find them, they take them, they turn them into super soldiers, or they kill them, or they turn them into breeding groups. So
I've been very fortunate here, because in some way I've been totally protected. I'm kind of out of the loop, like as if they couldn't find me.
Right. You're an anchor spirit dug deep into the earth.
Gotcha.
It all relates. As an anchor spirit, you are deeply related to Earth. That means the previous lifetimes you lived here as the weather warrior, as the weather wizard. That just shows how deep your Earth connection is. So when you left, you didn't tell the world your story, which means that the surface world of surface intelligence wasn't prepared for when you came back. So you have a story of spirit to tell, but you got to tell it to yourself first.
I gotcha. Well, this is a beautiful time you're offering me here, because that's my question. It's like I've been realizing that I call it faith, but I'm not looking for faith. I'm looking for the story.
Right.
To connect me to myself.
Right. And that's why I do this 8 hours a week, because I know that every drop I change with each person that I help, that it changes the 7 future generations of the people that are there. I've lived and co-lived and existed in the South Pole and the North Pole at the same time, as a separated Dreamtime and as a unified Dreamtime. So I thoroughly understand the process that people are going through here, and it's just a matter of me having the time to literally translate it to the specific message that person needs. Like you just said, you needed to hear the story, not the faith part behind it.
Well, I have to admit that most of everything you said, on one level, I get a drift of it, but basically, mostly, I don't understand, but I understand that your words are allowing my frequency to change, and your voice, and I'm glad to have the opportunity to speak to you. I knew when I just heard a little bit of your voice and what you had to say that I wanted to have to speak. And so where might I want to go and kind of keep connected to try to facilitate the story of who I am and to my understanding?
As I said, the first thing you need is water energy. So maybe after this phone call, maybe let's finish listening to the show and go take a half-hour shower. Let the water run over. If you have a bathtub or a swimming pool, go into it.
Okay.
You need to get water energy. saturate yourself. Do it 2 or 3 days, and as you're doing it, you're either going to have to write down some of your thoughts, because once you get out of the water, your thoughts are going to be very different. And those initial thoughts that you have when you get out of the water have all the extra water energy you need, so you understand that you're going to start saturating the parts of your body that need the water to create the dream environment, so you can communicate to those people in a method and manner that you, the physical person that's trying to understand, can understand. It'll probably be coming at beginning between writing back and forth. And from after writing, you'll be able to read some of your writings out loud before you go to bed. And that will challenge the Dreamtime version of you to listen to you. So you're fighting the autopilot of the ego that makes you forget your dreams in the morning, as well as your dreams, as your actual dreams you have while you're existing. Because when I dream myself part of the dream. Many other people don't dream themselves in the dream because they don't literally have the leftover memory space inside their body to keep that dream energy there.
I relate to that.
So what I'm going to say is, do you have any crystals in your house?
Yeah, I have a few.
Okay. You got any kosher salt, rock salt, or anything like that?
Yeah.
So you get a regular little sandwich plastic Ziploc bag, put a cup of salt in it and one crystal, and I want you to put it over your tailbone, like in between your pants and your shirt. Make a second one, put a salt and a crystal in it, and I want you to put it on the back of your head, and I want you to lay down after you've been in the water, and what that's going to do is going to literally clear out the memory zones of those areas so that more infinite energy of the Dreamtime can take root there. You're an anchor spirit, so naturally, once you give space and spot for roots to grow to that dream world, you'll begin to change at a much more rapid pace, as well as understand the growth patterns you're going through.
That I can do. Yeah, I will do that immediately.
Okay. Well, I have another caller. Why don't you call back in a couple days and tell us how things are going?
I will. Thank you very much.
All righty. 770, your name and where you're calling from?
Good morning, Andrew. My name is Rick. I'm calling from Kennesaw, Georgia.
Hi, Rick. How you doing today? Can you speak up just a little bit?
Sure.
How can I help you?
I was calling to try to get a reading.
Okay. Have you been listening to the show for a while?
About a week or so.
About a week or so? So you kind of know how these readings work?
Right.
Is anything connected to you before?
Yes.
Yes. So you're definitely ready to have it. So you're looking to have dreams read, I take it?
Yes.
All right. What I need you to do is tell me your first 10 minutes of your day, compact it into 40 seconds, and be as detailed as possible.
Okay. I woke up this morning, got up, looked out the window, noticed that it was snowing after a almost 70-degree day yesterday. Went downstairs, spoke with my nephew for a little bit, then came back up here and got on Revolution Radio.
All right. I've tuned into your energies. You're an interesting fellow. You're a Pleiadian. You're a Pleiadian walk-in. You tell me a little something about your life when you were a kid. Did you get into a car accident and were hurt?
No. I've been in a few motorcycle accidents, but nothing really bad.
You never had a near-death experience?
Yes, I did. And I had an out-of-body experience when that happened.
Okay. Do you wish to share anything about that before I go into this?
The most I remember about it was seeing myself from above laying on the table when the doctor's working on me.
Okay.
And that's about the extent of it, really.
Okay. But afterwards, you began a recovery process, and it was very difficult for you?
Yes, it was. More mentally than physically, actually.
Okay. Well, one of the reasons why is your soul contracted this lifetime to allow additional spirits to come in here and live within your life pattern so that you're nurturing them in a protected manner, much like a kangaroo has a little pouch that holds its young in it. You have a spiritual energy pouch that allows you to bring spirits here with you so they can be nurtured. And during that process where you had your near-death experience, those four spirits that were with you gave up their life so that you could live, and they walked into your soul and blended with your contracts and expanded your soul. So right now you have the energy of 5 people in you. And it's very difficult for you to understand how these different rhythms and timings are in you. There's a pattern in you that says one to go this way, one to go this way. So all four of your directions are being pulled in frequently. And it's very difficult for you to get into the center of your original self because your self is now blended with the four others. And this making sense to you?
Yes, it is.
All right. The four others that are here to be your teachers. They sacrificed their life so you could stay here. You have nurtured many, many, many souls in over a long period of time, doing this over and over and over again. When you're not here on this world, you're back in the Pleiadian area looking for powerful spirits that will come here with you in that nurtured energetic pouch to live here and experience here. For some time, you're actually able to let some of these spirits out of the pouch and live in other earth chakra areas. And when you did that, you were a Paiute Indian, and you would use a drum and a rattle, and you'd walk across the lands from one side of the Turtle Island to the other, and singing to the clouds and to the people, and you were known as a traveling medicine man. You know that you have native in you?
Yes.
Okay. You ever thought about doing that for yourself, walking across some land for a while, returning to that old state? Is that even possible within you now? Because the very feet upon you stand on now is a limestone bed, and deep into that limestone bed is a crystalline memory of you doing this over and over and over again. But literally the place that you live right now, you have walked over that energy point 1,000 times, and you drummed 1,000 tunes to it. And that is your anchor to this world as well as to the dream world, so you may create a spirit fire in this spirit world and create spirit smoke signals, so you may once again attract those other souls that wish to come and be in your protective pouch, so that you may be complete again. The 4 plus the 1 is you, and the 4 additional makes the 9, so the 9 of you will make the 3 trinities of soul within inside you. It's about bringing those animals, those spirits back into your pouch now to finish the healing and make yourself a 3 trinity spiritual person that's going to travel parts of the planet and look to the earth energy points and chakras and speak your words to them.
Yes, that really rings true, because that's something that I've been seriously considering recently, is just giving everything up and going out.
What's holding you back?
Well, probably nothing, actually. I feel like I have commitments to my family. That is the main thing that I feel like is keeping me here. But it's a choice. It's not like a pressure.
Right. 770, are you there?
Yes, I am.
All right. This is everybody. This is the second hour of Adventures in Reality. So before the break, we were talking about part of your future. Tell me about this desire to go out a little bit and see the world.
Well, it's not so much as going out and seeing the world as it is finding what the truth is.
Okay.
But what my real true connection is to our Mother Earth and to all of my brothers and sisters on this planet.
Okay.
That is what I'm really seeking.
Okay. Have you lived a ceremonial or ritual life in your this lifetime so far?
No.
No?
No, I would not say I have, no.
And what is the primary reason that you haven't done that?
Actually, I was very naive when I was young. Growing up and becoming a young adult, I was more attached to the physical than anything else. And until about 5 years ago, I really didn't understand what things were really about. And I've kind of had this awakening since then, and it's changed me.
Okay. Well, I'm getting direct from your spirit guides. What they want you to do is part of this reading for you was speaking to your higher soul and to you. This show will be in archives in about 15, 18 hours, usually within a day and a half it's up. I want you to go back and listen to it at least 3 times, because I'm speaking to different layers of you from different future points of view. One of the reasons I do that, there's this particular rhythm and timing and drum within you. And it means you need a drum in your life, a hand drum, that of a drum of a shaman. You also need a rattle in your life. I have to understand that the drum beats that you create And the rattle rhythms that you create are ultimately going to help you go into a state of action so that you'll find a local park or something around you that you'll be able to take your rattle with you and shake it as you walk or as you run or as you hike or as you climb. And as you begin to create these rhythms, as your footfalls create, you'll connect deeper to the earth and you'll have a deeper understanding of the little rhythms that are helping you change and co-create right now. It's really going to call for a time that you set serious ritual life for yourself, creating your own religion of the self, adopting other concepts from other places by reading other books. And I mean, honestly, you need to create that in your life if you want this change to manifest.
Yes, I do.
Well, you can go and find a wood drum from local music stores for anywhere between $30 and $50. Doesn't need to be big. It just needs to be able to make the sound. The rattle you can make yourself. You can find a hollowed out gourd and some seeds, or you can buy one, $15 to $18. And that's what your ceremonial tools are going to start out as. And then as you get deeper into the concept, you'll make other tools. You'll turn crystals into objects that help you dream more. You need to connect to your dreams, and you do that by literally making noise and sound and vibration. So when you go to bed, your energetic field has been cleared out by these drumming rhythms, these rattling rhythms, and much more of your spirit will make its way into your body and allow you to create in these dream times the ability to remember more.
Okay.
All right. I've got two other callers, so why don't you call in another time and we can go into this further.
Thank you, Andrew.
You're welcome. Astrid, your name, where are you calling from?
Hey, can you hear me?
I can hear you. How you doing?
Hi, I'm good. I'm in Australia.
Oh, how you doing, Miss Australia?
I'm good, thank you. I haven't actually heard you before. A friend of mine just linked me in, so I'm kind of coming in cold off the bat here, so we'll see what happens.
Okay. So have you ever heard me do a reading before or just today?
Well, I've just heard the last two that you did, so.
Okay. Anything connect on them?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay.
So we'll see how we go. I'm interested.
All right. What I need you to do is to tell me your first 10 minutes of your day when you woke up. I'm going to tune into your dream world. And from that point, I will help you understand what's going in and around your life. So combine that 10 minutes into 40 seconds and do it out loud.
Okay. Okay, well, first of all, I go into my garden and I just water my plants and I check my seedlings that I'm growing and I feed my chickens and play with my dogs a bit. And basically, yeah, I just spend the first 10 minutes in my garden and saying hello to the garden and the plants and the local birds and stuff like that. So that's pretty much how I start my day. And then
I've tuned into your energies.
Okay.
All right. The first thing I'm going to do is read your Eastern energies. And what I'm sensing is an advance away from a male energy. There's a bright male energy that's been breaking your cycles, that it's been turning your medicine wheel into a medicine square. And you are a woman, you're not a square. There's sacred feminine in you that's growing. And the sacred feminine is acting like a bug zapper to this male energy. And this male energy is seeking the inner peace within your sacred feminine because it was wounded a whole long time ago. But you have to understand that that wound of that male energy is not going to be healed by you. It's not meant to this lifetime. It was just meant to be there to help you understand some rules that you needed to go through, that there were true friends, true realities, and true spirit beings that are around you that can help you understand this manifesting sacred feminine in you. This male energy in a previous lifetime was a chief of a tribe and was a commander of shamans for many, many years, but he fell into disrepair as a soul because he didn't do the hard work on numerous lifetimes when it came to mastering the concept of women. He was still under the idea that he needed to dominate, and that ultimately was his failure. So your energy here and now is to understand the cycles of how to shed off the old skins of people that latch on to you. It only comes from having a prayer of inner peace, having a ceremonial tool that can drive off that male energy even when it's 1,000 miles away. It seems to be infecting your memory at times. Is this making sense to you?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, your garden is a place of peace, but it has memories of other things that are attached to it. I really think that you need to go away from your place for a few days and feel the energy of another place. Do you have any sacred sites around you that you could go to?
Not really sacred, but there's a few creeks and like really nice places I could go. Yeah.
Well, it would be good for you to go and make some lunch and go there for a few hours. And I'm sensing that there's these music spirits around you. Are you a flute player or something like that?
No. No.
Do you play any musical instruments?
I have drums and rattles. I'm actually a shamanic practitioner.
Okay. Well, then you need to go and be a shamanic practitioner in other places. You need to get the energy of the other places and commune with them in a prayer time so that the inner peace reminds you of the soul family that you have, the soul sisters that are here right now. You came into this world with 7 soul sisters, which is extremely, extremely, extremely important because those soul sisters will help you find the other women that have the true spark of Earth Mother's sacred feminine in them, and not the sacred feminine of the other sister planets of Earth. Because now is about finding the original sacred feminine spirits of Earth, those that are contracted with the womb of Earth to be womb spirits, to be these placenta spirits, though, that their energy would nurture people around them. And it's not the mothering energy, it's the true love of sisterhood energy. And this energy is asking you to create a physical feminine aspect that people can come around you and the others can come around, and you can make the shamanic feminine circle that will help people connect to their sacred feminine. Also that you know that there are men that are born with feminine spirits in this world, and that you'll have to allow those in also because they have the spark of the feminine spirit. Have you encountered men like that?
Not really yet. Hopefully I will though. I've had a lot of issues like what you were talking about at the start with men trying to latch onto me and basically taking energy from me. So I've been single for quite a long time because of that. But yeah, I can relate to what you're saying. I've been doing a lot of hiding.
Well, I could see that here. And there's several layers that I can explore, but I think the most important part for you now is to understand what's coming to you as healing hands. All right? It is literally your crown chakra is 3 feet off the top of your head, and it should only be a few inches. And at the very peak of your crown chakra are these 2 crystalline structures that are creating a Jacob's ladder effect of a spiritual energy sparking back and forth, and that is representing the upload and download process of the spirits that are working with you. They are literally connected into the 7 future generations of children because you are a womb spirit this lifetime. You're a nurturing feminine spirit. Your life has led you down the shamanic practice, but ultimately something has shorted your energy and has prevented you from taking on the true energy of the 7 sisters that are here with you co-creating.
Okay.
Have you ever decided to take a pilgrimage to places of power so that you can connect to those 7 sisters?
No, actually I did travel to Central Australia last year, which was pretty amazing. Very powerful place.
Okay.
But yeah, I haven't done much traveling.
Well, it's not really about the traveling. It's the concept behind the traveling. You could go out to your backyard and find a place of power. I don't doubt that. You have a feminine spirit in you that will guide you to a spot of bright energy because it's all over Earth Mother's spine. You simply just have to...
Oh, you're talking about journeying. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Now I'm kind of on the same page. Yep.
So really what it is you need that time, that ritual, ceremonial, personal, inner peace space, time away from your garden, your home, your life, so that you're only in commune with nature. And you need to start that 20, 30 minutes every couple of days until you get deeper into that energy of around you, and those places will begin to talk to you. And as they talk to you, you'll understand why the male energy is trying to constantly return home to you. Because in previous lifetimes, you actually birthed them for their first lifetime here. So you have soul contracts to them. You brought them from other planets here and said, I will be your mother for your first life. And make sure that you have a good energy. And you did that. You completed that contract. But now all these lifetimes later, these men are coming around and stealing your energy because they haven't completed their end of the contract, even though you're already free of it.
No.
So you need to make contracts with Earth so that those people are nurtured by the Earth in other places so they don't no longer seek out your light. And then your light can grow inside. And as you do that, you'll begin to dance in the rhythms of Earth Mother.
Uh-huh. Makes sense.
Okay.
Yeah.
There are other layers here. You're going through a rite of passage and into your dream time with new abilities. As I said, healing hands are coming to you. You're going to be finding yourself, your ability to rub somebody's forehead and remove their migraine headache. You'll be able to put your hand on a woman's midsection that is having terrible PMS cramps, and they'll be gone. There'll be a woman that's going through a pregnant state, and you'll be able to put your hand on them and experience the birthing process, but that you've already lived before. So you'll give a soothing energy to them. You're going to become a teaching spirit, literally with your hands, showing the compassion that you can do, how your heart chakra is opening up. That's what I see from the seven sisters that are offering you this ability, this energy, this love, this constant heart energy pulsing through the very tips of your fingers. You know you're a powerful person.
Yeah. Mostly I work on pretty much without doing face-to-face stuff, just online. But when I do hands-on work, it's pretty interesting what happens.
Okay. I also sense that you're going to be healing animals, too.
I already do that.
Okay.
Yeah.
There's a jump here. There's a jump that you understand that you're here to be this placenta energy force when you're around people. And when you're around animals, it takes a whole new level. When you're healing animals, you're healing yourself. Because when you came from another world, you didn't come from a two-legged world. You came from a four-legged world. Everything that lives in that world is a four-legged world, and there isn't a food chain in that world. They're all plant eaters. So they live in harmony. They live in communion with their sacred feminine planet. And that sacred feminine planet has several masculine planets around it that protect it, but protect it in a spiritual gateway so that negative spirits can't invade that solar system. And if they do, they'd have to confront the several, masculine planetary energies that are psychically defending it. This planet is called Ushna Ha Hushna Pe Hona. It does not convert to normal language because it is a vibratory language, and it is a physical fifth-dimensional planet on the very edge of the Pleiades area. It was actually a created planet. It was brought there as a sacred feminine planet to anchor sacred feminine energy from all of the spirits in that area. So many spirits in the Pleiade constellation will coexist or co-live on the four-legged planet with you so that they may be blessed and bathed in this nurturing sacred feminine energy. So then when they go to the harder worlds to learn harder lessons, they have a barrier between the negativity that can be eaten away so that they can ultimately use their free will to survive here. But now here in this lifetime, your final goal, your final challenge is to connect to the true spirit of Earth Mother so you can understand the pains of being the planet that it's been in its millions of years of history so that you may tell its story to women and to the feminine spirits here that we overcome by creating our 7 future generations and by teaching them our skills, our abilities, our history, our wisdom, and the ability to heal others. And what I'm really getting from you is you need to step up your game and get out there and feel the energy of the earth and then find women that need to be healed. I'm sure they will manifest around you the day you tell the universe you're ready to do it.
Yeah, it's funny because mostly I work with women, except for the men that abuse me. They actually come back and I end up doing healing on them, which is pretty funny. And also lots of animals. I get on better with animals than people, generally speaking. So that makes a lot of sense. Mm-hmm. So the 4-legged planet, hey?
Yeah,
amazing.
4-legged. Everything has 4 legs. That's the basic rule of that planet. And they don't have 7 chakras on that planet. They have 30.
Okay, so I wasn't human, obviously.
No, your first lifetime you weren't human. You didn't come here till you were a middle-aged spirit. So you came here fully understanding that this was going to be the PhD of School of Hard Knocks here.
Oh, yeah.
You fully were aware of that, and you had enough sacred feminine from a sister planet of Earth to come here and bond in sisterhood with Earth. You lived many times as a four-legged animal, then you switched to being an ocean-living animal. You were a whale for many generations, being service to Earth by singing the songs to the Dreamtime worlds. As the whale's song echoes over the ocean, it interacts with the crystalline structure of the crust of the Earth and creates a resonant dream field for the dreaming spirits of the ocean. And you connected to the dreaming spirits of the ocean and directly into Earth Mother's heart, and that's where you bound yourself into the service of Earth Mother to be this placenta force of light here now.
Wow. So is there a soul group here as well?
Yes. There's about 200 of your soul groups that are here right now. You've only met a small few of them, and until you start healing some of the people you are soul contracted to heal, they're not going to really manifest until they've done their due diligence on their side. Soul contract wise, you've got a list of about 2,000 people that you are here to balance karma with, but you only do it by free will. And if they come to you out of free will, you complete a secondary contract that allows you, the spirit now, to advance into this energetic pattern to raise your spirit chakra generation so that your crown chakra that I told you will connect deeper into the Dreamtime planet of your original homeworld. So you'll literally have dreams of Earth Mother Mind and your original homeworld coexisting at the same time, allowing you to see the several dozen layers of soul groups here on Earth and what Earth needs to heal, what soul group Earth wants to heal, as well as the hive mind of your home planet. So it's going to be like a psychic surgery triage room where Earth and this other planet will say, this person needs this now, this needs now, and you're going to have to go and find to them, this one needs this one needs this, and then either heal them there or pass them on to other healers that have similar contracts with them.
Yeah, that's already been starting to happen. Like I've basically set up a practice in the last 18 months. Mm-hmm. And it's just been really organic. Like people just come out of nowhere.
Right.
So, yeah, it's just sort of going with the flow, really. It's pretty amazing how it just unfolds. Mm-hmm. Amazing. I really felt your energy as soon as I logged on to listen to you on the radio. I was just like, you hit me straight in the center of the chest. I felt like someone had booted me in the chest. I'm like, wow. Some pretty amazing stuff, hey?
Thank you so much. I've been doing this for a long time. It's a skill based on endurance, and that endurance is how I'm able to anchor myself into the northern hemisphere and the southern hemisphere, so I may understand the dreams of all of our world as well as the dreams of the 7 future generations coming in, as well as connecting to the heart of Earth Mother, the wombs of Earth Mother, the inner and hollow Earth peoples and soul groups, and how they relate to the thousands of other planets that are interacting here now. Seeing the equation of Earth and all of the other planets and how we begin to bring balance to it.
Amazing. Well, thank you so much.
You're welcome. Do you have any other questions?
I don't think so. I guess this may be, like, where do I need to focus at the moment? Like, what's the most important thing for me to do? Or you probably already covered that, but
it's fine. I'll cover it again. This will be on archives on YouTube in 24 hours or so.
Yeah.
You need to go off of your land, off of your property. It can be a few miles away, the creek, the streams, somewhere else, and sit and meditate. Bring lunch with you. Connect with it, talk to that area out loud and inside. Bring a drum and a rattle with you. Get some barefoot time out when you can.
Okay.
Some other things, it's going to be time for you to make some ceremonial healing tools. Maybe get on go to a local rock or gem shop and see if you can find some stones. And
I've already done that. I've got crystals everywhere.
Okay, well, you're going to turn, I'll say this specific. You're going to turn one of the crystals you're going to ask it in a ceremonial time that you want to be able to heal the wombs of women that come. So when you put this crystal over their lower regions or on their tailbone, you are healing strictly that womb energy. So you're going to share the healings that you went. You're going to tell the stone the stories of your abuse and healing, so that when that stone is there, it has that wisdom, that knowledge, and that infinite spark to begin the movement of healing energy into those womb area people that have been suffered beatings or rapes or abuse or any of those other things that are going to come to you.
Okay, beautiful.
And then the
Thank
next
you
thing
so
is
much.
you're going to want to create one for each chakra, and it's related to the women. So you'll have 7 stones, each related to a chakra. Each has a different story to you that relates to the different abuses or wonderments you've gone through your life. Doesn't all have to be negative. You can tell positive stories too. And then when you're done, you need to create one male stone, because in your life you have a lot of male energy, and you need to ground that male energy into a healing stone. So when those male people come to you for healing, that there is a male side energy that's bonded in internal love of the sacred feminine within you. So start with 8 stones and give them as many drum and rattle hours that you can, and talk to them and dedicate them into service of healing.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Call in again.
Beautiful. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Bye.
All right. 970, your name and where you're calling from?
Yeah, it's Chris. I'm from Colorado.
Hi, Chris from Colorado. How can I help you today?
Hi, I just wanted to do like a general reading, kind of like what you were doing previously.
Okay. Have you ever heard me do readings before, or is it your first day?
This is my first day, yes.
Okay. So what prompted you to call in?
I was actually talking to my mother, who you did a reading for, I believe, yesterday. Okay. And I'm kind of down around the same path as her, and just wanted to see how it went.
Okay. So what did you hear today? Did anything connect to you?
Yeah, a lot of I called in like 2 people ago with the gentleman, and you were talking about like the drums and just kind of making noise and rattling, which for some reason kind of connected with me.
Okay. Well, what I need you to do is tell me your first 10 minutes of your day, combine that into 40 seconds, be detailed. I'm tuning into your Dreamtime energy, that infinite moment, so go ahead and tell me what your first 10 minutes of your day were like.
Okay. Well, I woke up and I looked at a picture of a really nice-looking lady, kind of a dream building thing. Then I got up, jumped out of bed, said, I'm really excited. Today's going to be a great day. Went through a list of things that I was thankful and grateful for. Went and took a quick shower.
All right, I've tuned into you.
Okay.
Just a second here. All right, there's a whole lot of energies that are coming through you right now. The first thing I sense is a long time ago you were given a moment of inner peace that allowed you to understand the 9 layers of your soul. I'm going to say this is when you were a kid. This is when you began to understand the very world that you were living in, and that world was going to be broken down into different compartments, and your brain began to associate those compartments with different energies. Just a second here. Those different energies began to get mingled and commingled until finally you became an adult that had a 9-layer view of the world. And that 9-layer view of the world began to fall apart as you really became into your adulthood and as you began to identify your sexuality. And as you began to truly understand that sexuality was ultimately going to be a bar that other people would judge you by, you lost that inner peace moment. And as you lost that inner peace moment, the 9 layers of you separated, and you began to go through a new understanding process where you would look back on yourself with a rather good memory and see yourself in a joyed and happy time where your ideas and needs were manifested. But you also began to understand the sacrifices that your family did to make sure that you could have a good life, and that began to wear you down and drain your energy. And as it drained your energy, you ultimately went back to look for that inner child that was happy and understood his 9 layers. But something kept missing. You kept missing your train ride into happiness. Is this making sense to you?
Yes, absolutely.
All right, as I was saying, you missed your train ride into happiness and missed your train ride into happiness, but ultimately understood that there were other people waiting on that train platform with you, all waiting for that hour of power where they could be happy. And you began to share some innocent times with them. And as you shared those innocent times, you began to connect to a soul group. And this is when a spiritual searching began within you. But ultimately, you didn't have enough knowledge of where to search. Google wasn't enough until finally you just said, what do I do? What do I do? And a voice said to you, look and search and look and search. And the soul group that you're with began that same process. And now it's asking you to take it to the next level. You on a spiritual path?
Yes, I am.
Okay. You care to share anything?
Well, it wasn't until recently, and I never really was much of a religious person. I believe in a lot of the principles of it. But recently I found like a group of people that just have a different way of thinking. They look at the world, in like vibration terms instead of all physical. And this has been a path that I've just recently gone down, and it's been very enlightening to me.
Okay. And this is something you want to take to the next level?
Yes.
Well, to take it to the next level, you're going to have to return to the inner child, the person that can play in his sandbox with his toys by himself. For some people, that is very hard, and for others, it's very easy. But ultimately, we choose our difficulty level of allowing ourselves to return to those innocent moments. And once you return to innocent moments, you're going to literally return to your home inside yourself. You're going to understand that there's a powerful male spirit in there bonded with a female spirit. When you came here, you came with both lights in you. And it's not that you're a bisexual person. It's literally spiritually, you said this lifetime, I am going to break these screwed up incarnation rules on this world, and I am going to be a shining light of both. But you ultimately knew that to do that, you needed to have other contracts that would prevent the forces of darkness from finding you. So what you did is created these 9 levels, these 9 layers for other things to incorporate. And now you must begin to let go of those 9 layers and let this one layer of vibratory people begin to come into your soul, to come into your heart, so that the 9 layers digest this new energy and create a totally new energy, so that you transform from this visionary process, so that the education you go through is a spiritual education as much as a physical education. The energies that are coming are going to teach you about the shadow side of the self that prevented you from finding people like this before. They've been presented before. This is commonly called the crow medicine. The crow saw itself. It saw itself in its shadow and pecked its shadow and ate its own self, so that the shadow was bonded with itself. So this is a process for you to understand that the shadow's inside of you, and that exploring vibratory consciousness or new types of spirituality. 808, could you mute your mic, please? 808, can you mute your mic, please? Anyways, you have this process where the shadow side's inside you, and you can't purge it out of you because it's part of you, so you must love it. Are you familiar with the concept of Ho'oponopono?
I am not.
That's something you should look up. It's a way to say, I love you, I forgive you, can you forgive me? And it's a way to balance the karma of any negative situation and allows your heart love to expand even more. There are things that you're going to begin to learn. There are many techniques out there that will rapidly go with you. I'm going to say right away, you're going to be an incredible healer with your hands. An incredible healer with your hands. You have the 2 energies of the male and the female. And what that means is it doesn't matter if it's a man or a woman in front of you, or a cat or a dog, a frog or a toad. You have the vibratory energy linked to the sacred earth here, combined with Earth's hidden husband. I don't frequently talk about that on air, but Earth does have a husband, and it's been hidden for a very long time, so the forces of domination control cannot get to it. So you'll be able to heal some of the people that have experienced war. Do you have a brother or a friend that went off to Afghanistan?
I do not.
You do not. Well, it's going to become very apparent to you. I think as you go deeper into the education of this soul group that's around you, you're going to find yourself healing Iraq and Iran and Afghanistan war vets. It's soul contracted all over you. It's written on you. Don't take this as a pressure because you haven't begun to learn your healing technique yet. But knowing that there's people your soul contracted to heal with, either by voice or handshake or simply a blink of an eye, because you exchanged a second of energy with them so that you could balance the previous war energies of the other lifetimes that you had where you were mortal enemies from other planets and other worlds where we were constantly murdering each other in an endless cycle. And now here in the now, we're here to end that so that we don't become this endless cycle of war anymore, that spirits like you can be born to end the war, to say, I have the male and the female and the contracts to understand that I can heal all of it, even the worst enemy of 1,000 lifetimes ago. Okay, how are you feeling now?
I'm feeling really good. Thank you so much.
Okay, you have any questions?
Maybe just how, I'm thinking of how, what should I do to get more in touch with my inner child?
Do you fish?
Yes.
You got a little fishing hole you go to?
Not in actually a couple of years, but I had one.
Well, I think you need to go to some of your old fishing holes, bring some drinks and some lunch with you, some bait, and just sit there and remember what it was like to fish as a kid. And if you're having a tough time, don't bring your cell phone with you. That's important. You got to have time away from the world where you're not hearing the cars and all that, and that you can ratchet down the noise of the world. And once you do, you're just going to start smiling, and you'll know that you're doing this out of love and fun. And then when you choose to have more energies in that, you'll be able to talk to the spirits of the area. Fishing is a classic way of connecting to the water energy. There are often times that I go fishing and I don't bring bait with me or even put a hook on it. I just put a weight on the end and I throw the line in the water. And as that rod is in my hand and the weight's in the water, there is a connection to the moving river or the lake. And that right there was incredible for me as a kid to connect to that energy, to ground myself so that I could do what I do today. And I think the same thing applies to you. You're at this stage where you need to ground your energies in the Earth Mother concept, and then begin to explore with them the words of the Vision Quest. Has anyone in this new group of people talked about going to a powwow or to a rainbow gathering or anything like that?
No, nothing of that nature.
Well, I think it's time that you asked. You ever heard of Mount Shasta, California?
No.
Mount Shasta, California is considered the heart chakra of Earth.
Oh.
So I think it's time you ask those questions about the people around you. What do they know about it? Begin to do some searches on the various spiritual places around and understand that you can have a vision quest and not leave your home, or you can leave your home and have a vision quest somewhere else. I think it's ultimately you decide what it is that you want, how you want to manifest this healing talent. I definitely say go out and learn a reflexology or Reiki or acupressure or massage, because your hands are going to be healers. You're going to put your hands on people and people are going to say, my God, your hands are hot. It's the first sign of the healer. Your hands glow from where I view right now.
Wow.
You're going to be like a quantum healer.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah. You in college now?
No, I'm not, actually. I was, but now I'm just working full time.
Okay. I think it's time that you looked in the local books for someone that is a masseuse. Go get a massage for them and say, hey, I've had this experience where I want to learn this. Where's the best place to go? Go find a school. If you don't want to find a school, learn on your own. You can go and learn Reiki. Reiki is everywhere. And go and start healing people. Start experiencing that. Bring that to this new group of people that you're with.
All right.
All right, I got another call on the line. Why don't you call back another time and we can continue this talk?
Fantastic. Thank you so much.
You're welcome, guy.
Bye.
808, your name and where you're calling from?
I'm Kathy, calling from Hawaii.
Hey, Kathy from Hawaii. How you doing today?
Great. Early in the morning.
Early, yes, it is. I have a brother that lives in Waialuku in Maui.
Oh, another island.
Yeah. So how can I help you today?
I just want a general reading.
Okay. How long have you been listening to the show for?
I just found you like a couple days ago.
A couple days ago. So has anything connected to you from the other shows that you listened to?
I feel you're very intuitive, so I was wondering if you could, find out what's happening with me.
Okay. So what I need you to do is tell me your first 10 minutes of the day. Combine that into 40 seconds. What I'm doing is I'm reading your Dreamtime energies, and I'll be able to generate a reading for you. Go ahead and say that out loud.
Okay, well, usually when I get up, I go to the bathroom and get myself ready. I dug out to use the bathroom. I make my breakfast, get my things ready for work, and I get in the car and I go.
All right. When you first woke up this morning, did you rub your eyes and remember a dream?
Oh, yeah. No, I didn't remember a dream, though. I rubbed my eyes, so.
Okay. Did you dream last night?
I don't remember it.
All right. Well, right now there's lots of dreams that are floating through you. I've tuned into your energy, and what I'm getting from you now is it's time for a purification. It's time to let go of the negative people that have been weighing you down. I'm really sensing there's a whole lot of people that have been dramatic in your life, and their volume is so high that you can't hear your own words and you can't hear your own heartbeat. And as that goes and goes and goes, it peaks to a point until finally there's a pressure valve in you where you leave these people and you go to a place of purification and you let yourself relax. You connect to your inner soul and you understand that there's a great wisdom in there. But every time you leave that place and return home, the energies begin to build back up and ratchet up until it's too loud for you again. So what I'm really understanding here is that your physical environment, the people that you're around are not returning the gifts of love that you give them. And there's a reverse of wisdom in them. And this reverse wisdom is really irking your soul. It's really saying, no, I cannot have this around me. How can I change them and help them? But ultimately, it's about helping yourself and changing yourself. Mm-hmm. This is not saying leave them totally. It's saying that you must build barriers. You must understand that the earth that you live on now has provided you all of the knowledge and wisdom to build these barriers so that they cannot enter your sacred space anymore. And as you grow deeper into these energies, various spirit beings from the island are going to begin to come to you. And one is of a woman that's of the Sacred Island Healers, and she's going to help you understand why these men around you can't be healed because they're in a state where they don't understand their spiritual contracts. They have never gone through a purification process on their own other than when they went through puberty or, became an adult men where they had to go out and get a job or starve. So until those men go through repeated purification processes, they're going to stay exactly the way that they are. And you can't force them to do that, but what you can do is lead by example. What it's really telling you is it's time to step up and say that there's a spiritual side of you that wants to be expressed in the physical world. And if these men around you don't want it, then you need to tell them to respect it and go in the other room. You need to have spiritual energies in your home. Are you a spiritual person?
Very.
Okay. So you would say that you've had many spiritual experiences.
Yes.
So do you wish to bring these spiritual experiences into your home and to change the very energy of your home?
Yes.
So are you ready to be the shaman who walks upon the island?
Yes.
So you need to dedicate a spot and begin to bring people there so that you have ceremonial time on your land. Can you do that?
Yes. Well,
if you can do all that, you can begin to bring that energy, this very people you stand upon, the stone people, that which gave that island birth, will begin to speak to you through your feet. Your feet are like two tuning forks where the tibia and fibia connect to the ankle bones and to the foot, and they will literally speak to you through your feet. All right? And I mean literally speak to you through your feet. And then you'll begin a process of a dancing shaman. You'll put on the ceremonial headdress and the ceremonial garbs as you begin to dance with the drums and the rattles. And you bring the other women and men of young age who want to become dancers of spirit, and not out of tradition, but to truly understand the spirit. for those that want to be spiritual. They will be of every walk of life, of every race, of every creed, and you will open your heart to them into that of the very nature of the healing parts that you create. So by fulfilling the shaman within you and honoring the land, the people will come. So it's saying to form a spiritual dance group with drummers that support it. And from there, the energies of your home will raise, and the very men that are around you will begin to stir and understand the purification process that they can go through. They can go down to the ocean and give away their pain. And when they return, they can return with a similar feat that you have, because you will be teaching people how to sense through their feet once again. That's the type of energies that I'm getting from you. Are you understanding this?
Yes.
Is there anything you wish to share with us about your spiritual path?
Well, just recently I just got rid of the negative male energy in the house. I kicked them out, so that now it's very peaceful.
Okay.
So it's right on what you've just been saying.
Okay. So now that you're in this house, I think the most important thing you do is when you get off this call, you talk to the house and say, I do not want this male energy here. I want to nurture the energy of the land, and dance in your home. Go and make sure your feet dance in each room of the home.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? Let your footfalls be the message to the Earth Mother below that you are dedicated in this area to ceremonial time and place, so that you may create the sacred feminine reverbing energy that's within you, and you may create a healing space for all to come to a rainbow gathering.
Yes, that's what I plan to do.
Okay?
Yes, thank you very much.
You're welcome. Is there any other questions you have?
No, that's pretty much, that's good. That's feeling what the energies were. Thank you.
All right. Why don't you call in again next week or later in the week, and we'll, after you begin to process this, there's other things that are going to come to you. There's going to be a lot of spirits that are going to talk to you. Don't be overwhelmed. Simply say, I'm not ready for any more, or give me a few hour break, or wait until after I've had my morning, cup of coffee before you speak to me, because to them time doesn't exist. And they've got a lot of things planned for you, but you got to do it out of free will and love for what it is, because they're giving you this endless amount of energy to create it, and they're saying if you build it, they will already dance in it. They're already dancing in it now, actually. There's actually hundreds and hundreds of people dancing in and around you, because your soul is connected to this reading in a way that it's manifesting you, so you can understand that there's 7 future generations of your children, and the students that you teach will be dancing on the ceremonial grounds that you create.
Awesome. I feel that now. I just felt that feeling come over me.
I'm actually, I'm full of tears right now as I'm connecting deeper to the island spirit that you are. When I read my brother on the island in Maui, or some of his friends over there, frequently I connect to that spiritual energy, and it's really refreshing and at times tearful because of the healing that's going on. Because those people on the island now are going through a specific form of healing. That's why they're on the island.
Yes. I feel like that's just the side I should be heading towards.
Okay.
Healing.
Well, this will be in archives probably tomorrow afternoon or tomorrow morning. I would definitely go back and listen to this. I'm speaking to several different versions of you. Definitely into the future, you'll be getting more information out of that first reading.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome. All right, I've got another caller on, so why don't you call back next week? Okay. 571, your name and where you're calling from. I only got about 6 minutes left.
Yes, my name is Frankie, and I'm calling from Virginia.
Hi, Frankie from Virginia. How long have you been listening to the show for?
A couple of weeks, but it is definitely a beacon. So I had done a reading last week, and you had mentioned the fact that I came into this lifetime with my crown chakra cloaked, and that I was going through a rewiring and education, and I am reaching out to you again to try to understand how I can more fully participate in that on a conscious level. If there's a certain set of process that I should do prior to sleep or during the day, something, because I find myself with some extra time now, which I'm sure is by design. So I'm just wanting to make sure that I take advantage of that opportunity.
I only got about 6 minutes left, but I'll be as helpful as I can. Put it this way, it's really about you taking the time out of your life to do things that are more inner child, inner spirit, inner reactive, co-creative. You got to take time away from your day, your week, your year, your month, all of that. And you need to celebrate a ritual time with yourself. And before you go to bed, you need to tell yourself that I want to remember my dreams. And when you actually wake up, you have to tell yourself, I want to remember my dreams. You've got to force yourself to turn off the autopilot. You've got to force yourself to try to write down your experiences. When I say force, there's a lot of resistance in the autopilot and the ego to prevent people from having these experiences because the ego will have to give up control. Just like the last caller from the lady from Hawaii, she's well onto the path, and for you, you're new to the path. So it means you have to read some books and that inspire you, and if you can't find a book that inspires you, you have to inspire your own path. Some of the readings you've heard today are very reminiscent of the people that have been onto this path but need that extra spark. So the extra spark that you need is the experience, but ultimately the ego is telling you need an experience to continue, but in fact you just need to continue and wait for the experience to happen because you've been doing the due diligence to it. You understand how that works?
Well, I think so.
Right.
In other words, I have been a student of metaphysics, but I sort of got away from it. So I'm certainly following what, you've been, the only thing I did have a question about was the Alcyon moon, because I'm not familiar with that at all. Is that something at some point I should explore?
Right. Well, you have a third eye that's very unique. As I saw between the screwed up wiring job, I realized why it was, because your third eye is like a telescope to the galaxies. And that would be extremely useful to the forces of domination and control, so they didn't get you this lifetime. So you'll literally be able to remote view other parts of the galaxy as long as you're able to anchor yourself with Earth Mother's divine womb. And I mean be anchored in her placenta energy so you can't be ripped off this planet in case you go too far and your consciousness changes. So like I said, your third eye can be literally like a telescope, and you'll be able to go and remote view planets as well as remote sense the emotions of the people on it in a total planetary aspect. But to do that, you have to be rooted and grounded in your dream time of Earth. You needed to be rooted in dream time of a ceremonial life. You need to make one, manifest a ceremonial life that says, I'm going to sit by a fire or sit by a candle and ground myself in such a way that I can open up to my true abilities. And after a few weeks of enforcing the ceremonial time and realizing you got to do it from the heart of the inner child, is when you truly understand the path is a very long path that one must endure until finally endurance is heart love, as it transforms itself literally into the path that you create every day.
Okay, I understand that.
Okay. Do you have any other questions?
No, that's fine. Thank you.
Okay. Well, there are some other things here. There's a book by Jamie Sams called Dancing the Dream. I very recommend that you read that book. It will help you identify where you are on the path, as well as understand that the path has many points of view. Are you in the chat room on the Revolution Radio homepage?
No, I'm not.
Jamie Sams, Jamisams, Dancing the Dream. So if you just type in Dancing the Dream on Amazon, you'll find that book. All right, everybody, it's the end of the show.